Hello, everyone. This is the Power to Change show with Robert Timmons. And today, our guest is a 29-year-old certified professional speaker, education consultant, minister, and author. William has over 5 years of experience in public speaking, mentoring, and coaching. And William is one of the most sought after motivational speakers for inspiring and activating students and educators in America. His own life experiences, such as being in foster care, homelessness, losing a football scholarship, raised by a single mother, and being molested, have prepared him well and have made him an expert in his field. His transparency, honesty, and heartfelt desire to inspire people to achieve greatness is what sets William apart. Welcome to the show, William. How you doing?
Hey, man, I am doing wonderful, 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 wonderful.
And where you calling in from here?
Seattle, Washington.
Oh, I love Seattle. I've been there once. I wanted to see the orcas when I was there, but I didn't get an opportunity for that.
Yeah, I actually just moved out here, man. Been out here about going on 8 months, but I love it, man. It's different. I love
I bet. I bet. Well, I want to thank you for joining us today. And, my first question for you, William, is you're a young man. You're only 29,
it.
and I know at 29, I wasn't doing very well myself.
Yep.
It took a lot of, just removing, a lot of the anchors that I had grown up with at that moment.
Yep.
And it probably wasn't until I think 30, I finally got my crap together. You know what I mean?
Yep.
1 second here. But let's get right into talking about your life experiences and, what you want to share that may help a listener understand what you have overcome in your life.
Man, it's a lot, but I will start here. I would basically, tell the people who are listening, man. I started out homeless. That was the main thing for me to be able to identify my purpose and my gift. And I was homeless. I worked at a recycling company in Franklin, Massachusetts, for 3 years, and I'll never forget, man. I walked in that day and something didn't feel right. It did not feel right. And I clocked in, I'm doing my normal work. I'm using the PDA to scan refrigerators, driving the forklift, dumping out the trash. And, my supervisor calls me, says, William, I need you to come in the office. The boss needs to talk to you. So I get in the office and he turns around and he says, William, how you doing? I said, I'm doing great, man. How you doing, Phil? Phil said, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And he said to me, well, Will, I hate to say this, man, but we have to, let you go. Now,
Wow.
I'm like, well, why you gotta let me go? I mean, I'm one of the hardest workers. I don't, sometimes I don't even take a break. You know what I'm saying? I'm working, I'm doing everything I can do. And he was like, the company's going through a transition financially. We just don't have the funds to be able to keep you. And I'm like, man, but I work harder than half the people that you kept here. I don't understand it. But man, I'll never forget getting into my 2003 Nissan Maxima and driving all the way from Franklin, Massachusetts, back to Rhode Island with tears coming down my face.
Wow.
The reason why tears was coming down my face, man, is because my mom was living with me. I had my baby mother at the time, and then I had my newborn son. So I'm like, yo, I got all of this money coming in from this job, and it's looking good. You know what I'm saying? We've bought certain things, and now it's just been stripped from me. And I'll never forget going through that process. Eventually, I had to reach out to one of my friends in high school, and this is why I tell a lot of students. I said, the people who you hang around with in school, don't expect them to be there forever, because that's not the case. And I was very popular. And out of all the people I knew, man, only one person picked up the phone for me. His name is Gilbert Augustov. And I said, bro, I'm going through a tough time right now. I need somewhere to stay. And he said, bet, bro, I got you, man. Come stay here. I said, oh,
Nice.
bro? He said, yeah. I said, bro, but here's the thing. I ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I can get unemployment. He's like, don't worry about it, man. Come stay with me. So, his mom and his family opened up their doors and gave me my own room. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't going to complain. I ain't going to complain because it's better than sleeping in my car,
Oh,
on the
absolutely.
shirt, all the clothes in the back. And, man, from there, I was able to transition and change my mindset because I was the type of person I would make fun of homeless people. I
Mm.
would have them chase after me with $1 and call them a bum and go get a job. And now the people who I was talking about, I became.
Right. Cause and effect, as they say.
Right. And I'll never forget, man. I eventually got a job working at a homeless shelter called Harrington Hall in Rhode Island. Organization called House of Hope. And man, one particular day I walked in after being on the job for about, I want to say a good 6 to 7 months. And there was a guy who was, pissed off. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know why he was pissed off, but I went down there and I talked to him. I said, "What's going on, man?" He was like, "Life ain't worth living no more." I said, "Well, what do you mean by that?" He said, "People keep robbing me. My family's not there for me. I'm in a shelter. What else do I have to lose?" And this is all I said to him. I said, "You don't have to take your life. You will get through this." That's all I said.
Right.
And because was suicidal, we had to follow protocol and call 911. And when we called 911, I sat with him downstairs and I just kept talking to him. I said, "Man, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right." He said, "I hope it is." And I promise you, man, 2 weeks later, I came back and my coworker Jerome Hines, he was like, "Hey, Will, Anthony's here. He wants to talk to you." And I said, "Oh man, I hope he's good this time." So I went down there and he just hugged me. He didn't even say no. He just embraced me. And when he embraced me, man, um, I still never forget to this day. He said, "Because of you, I didn't take my life."
Wow.
That day forward, light bulb went off. My words have power. And then I started work. I went from working at a shelter, then working with a drug rehab facilitation. And then the same thing happened, but I didn't know. There was 2 guys in a group. I did a group with 40 guys. Now I'm a young man. At the time I was 20, I was 27. I'm a young
Wow.
man speaking to
You
grown.
are a young man.
Yeah, right. I'm speaking to grown men. I'm like, oh man, I'm nervous, but I'll never forget the presentation that I did. Eagles don't stress the opinions of pigeons. And when I was done with the presentation, I didn't know that the 2 guys in the back right corner was both contemplating of leaving and committed suicide and OD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I found that out through one of the counselors who came up to me because they get homework and they got to write on their homework how was their day. And she came up and she said, "William, because of your presentation, these guys are going to stay." And until this day, these guys are still clean and sober. Man,
That's
my
amazing.
yeah. So that's it right there, bro. I can go on and on for days, man. But
That's what lit the fire under you, eh? That's when you realize, wow, I got some power here, and I can really utilize this for the better, And I'm sure it changed who you were, right? You
absolutely.
know, like you you're talking about your own problems, and now when you start giving back, all of a sudden your problems, they kind of go away in a way.
Right.
You realize that giving is a huge, huge part of someone's productivity in life, and how they evolve. And I think not enough people people wait till the 12th month of the year most of the time to give, and
Right.
even then they're looking to receive.
Definitely.
But no, I absolutely, like, I resonate with a lot of some of your past. I was raised by a single mom,
Mm,
3 children. She had 4 jobs at one time. We never seen her half the time, and I'm from up in Canada. And we got what we call mother's allowance, which is like welfare, anyways.
wow.
So when she was doing those, we were getting all that, and we had our fridge full for like 3 days a month. Because when it came in, we just ate like we were kings, and then had nothing, for the rest of the week. But I definitely understand that part. And I really, want to put out some good words for single moms, because they are the most powerful people I know, to be honest
Definitely.
with you.
Definitely.
And look at you, you're amazing. 29.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
very happy and impressed, to be honest with you.
Appreciate
Um,
it, man. Appreciate it.
Now, how did you find your way to start sharing your unique story?
Yeah.
Get right up on the stage and start, going to these schools and stuff.
Yeah. I always tell people, bro, be faithful to the few and you'll be ruler over much. And I'm a firm believer. I live by that principle. It's a principle, however you do anything is how you do everything.
Right.
I started out with 7 students. This is how I broke into the education space. I started with 7 students in a youth organization, and I gave them my all. And I never forget, I told them about perspective, how perspective is key. How you view it, how you view what you do determines how you do what you do. And I'll never forget, gave them a 30 minutes, you know what I'm saying? It didn't charge them anything. I wasn't even thinking. I just was so excited to be able to pour into kids who are coming from broken families, who has lost hope, who are struggling, who, want to be successful, but then, they're around drug dealers, want to be successful, but then around gang members. And I'm like, yo, if I can change their perspective, I can change their performance. And I started there, you know what I'm saying? And I kept doing it, and then I mastered 7, and then word started spreading. Hey, this guy came in here, did this. You need him. And then from there, I started doing high schools, middle schools, colleges, and it just started getting all over this place. And I became comfortable when I owned my pain. And then when I realized that my pain isn't for me, that's selfish. We don't go through what we go through for us. Yes, it's a learning experience, but we go through what we go through to set somebody else's free, which I
Right.
always love to say. Our pain is the key to unlocking somebody else's freedom.
Yeah, it's like we learned it to teach it.
Yes.
And we learned it the hard way,
Yeah.
to help others get out of that.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
No, I like that. I like that. That's one good key for sure that anybody can take on. Because I think, when we're young, I do recall, having a lot of pain and times I didn't understand vulnerability. And I know how powerful that is now. When you do accept what's going on to you, you release that weight like massively. And now you can, you have no care. It's like the comedians, they laugh about themselves because they don't care, and people can relate, so they laugh about it in a sense.
Yeah.
And I know that may not sound the way I wanted to put out, but they do become vulnerable and expose their own issues to make people
Right.
have fun. you
Right.
know um but now you shared with me, of course, some incredibly touching, that touching video, I tell you, that you shared with me.
Wow.
It was only less than a minute, I think, but
Yeah.
definitely got me in tears. Definitely,
Wow.
I related with it,
Mm.
and seeing the pain in this child, but I also seen the comfort,
Mm.
and almost like the angel wings that you possessed in that moment,
Wow.
when that child, that young boy, really needed somebody, and you
Right.
knew that.
Yeah.
There was no judgment, no questions, no anything, just come here, and you just embrace that young man with such love. I can tell, I absolutely could tell that.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you shared that. um but where was I going? Does this happen a lot? You know, you're impacting these children. I've seen other videos of you speaking, and you are incredible. You're powerful, and you're speaking to hundreds of students at once. So, does this happen after the fact? Do they contact you to, what goes on because of your words?
Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, bro, our words have power, man. And I don't see myself as anybody, I just do what I love to do, man. Um, and a lot of times, man, this is what I get. A lot of students come up to me. I gotta send you another video too, bro. Another young female crying, bro.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, motivation can't do that, man. Motivation wears off. Only empowerment can do that.
Mm,
And every time I'm done speaking, man, it never ceases to amaze me. I've had kids come up with me with special needs, and hug me, and I'm like, yo, like I can't believe that they're coming up to me, like as they're like, I can't believe he's still here, like that's my mindset, man. I can't believe that y'all are listening to me. Like I'm a nobody, you know. And every single time I always try to give my best to these students because I know that they struggle with so much. And I was there where I didn't have nobody to vent to, nobody to talk to. I impressed everything. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
wasn't trying to share nothing. And then when you try to share with your friends, kind of like they make fun of you. I want
Right.
it to be like a safe haven to where you can say whatever you want. If you've been raped and been molested, let's talk. I've been
Right.
there. Let me help you how to navigate. If you're going through homelessness, bro, that video, a lot of those kids, I think it was like 10% of the students that go to that school are dealing with homelessness.
Wow.
I'm like, what? In middle school? We're not talking high school. We're talking middle school.
That's
This is
crazy.
crazy.
That is.
So, I just take it as my opportunity to change the world in that one spot at a time. My saying is one student, one classroom, one educator, one state at a time.
And do you travel? Do you go nationwide with your talks at schools, or are you still in your area in Seattle?
Yeah, man, I go wherever I need to go. I've been to Florida. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to California. And I love it. And if Tokyo needs me, I'm coming to Tokyo. Nigeria needs me, I'm going to Nigeria. I just actually had a presentation in Nigeria, virtually. And it was amazing.
Wow.
And I said to them, we as Americans are spoiled. We're spoiled. We don't know how good we really have it. Like, we complain about our pizza being burnt when they can't
Yeah.
even find pepperoni. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, man, like, it's tough. It's tough. But yeah, I do, travel when I need to. Absolutely.
Oh, that's incredible because, the children all over definitely need someone like yourself there to pick them up, to show them that others have suffered the way they're suffering and there is a way out. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I know when you get stuck in those areas, it's so dark and lonely. And like you say, you can't share it with anybody because who's going to take you seriously, right? Like even sometimes your parents don't even understand. They think, you'll get over it. You'll get over it, move on. They don't really understand, or they don't know how to deal with it because they never had to, no one dealt with it with them. So they could still be suffering themselves without realizing it and carrying a lot of that baggage, if you think about that. But, what are the goals as a person and a speaker do you have for your next 5 years, and how do you visualize the path that you're heading onto?
Yeah. So everything's about numbers, man. I know for sure that I have to, in order for me to do what I need to do, bro, I need to at least make anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 in engagement. And the reason why is because I want to create a community center within my old hometown, where they can go in the urban areas to be able to go there, not have to be transported and go travel everywhere. It can be right at home. I definitely want to build a homeless shelter. I want to be able to do that and give back to homeless people, and not just a homeless shelter in my hometown, but I want it to be throughout the whole USA. Um, and then last but not least, I definitely want to do a drug rehab facility. Again, same thing as the homeless shelter. And I want to combine the two, to maybe like a transitional program. So homeless shelter, get stabilized with, the drug awareness and stuff like that, and then help them to be able to get into college or those other kind of things that they may need, credits, just get them back into school, let them feel good about themselves. And then, of course, most importantly, to be able to have that freedom to be able to, allow my kids to work for me, and my wife to work for me, and then also make sure that I can be able to pay people's rent, because I've been there, I know how it feels. Pay people's car note, just to give back. It really aggravates me when I see people that have tons of money and they're just spending it stupidly, and they're not giving it to people who really need it. So I want to be able to do that because it was never done for me.
Mm.
So that's what I would say. That's what I see. That's the path. I know the path to get there is between 5,000 to 10,000 engagement. And I got to take that and pour that back into the business to be able to let it fluctuate, to branch off and do those things and have property. So definitely.
I think that's a great mission that you're on, and believe me, I'm all about visualization as an artist, and I know that what you visualize, you can produce with action, and
Absolutely.
you're already doing it. You got the action on the go, and now you got the vision, you got the path, you got the blueprint ahead of you, and like anybody needs to know, you don't know where what's coming.
Mm.
You may think it's coming in a certain way, and the universe will bring it in such a different way, and you'll be like, wow, I never thought about that. And
Yep.
that's what's impressive, and that's what makes life fun, of discovery and everything else. When you really visualize things, and you start realizing that you are having successes when you celebrate those little ones, And then, things like, your mission. I think that's wonderful with, all the different types. And homeless, sadly, are dealing with a lot of that stuff. Some are not even there by choice, or there because no one can take care of them because they're, they got some sort of disability in some manner,
Mm.
right? And they need drugs in order to help them, but there's no one there to watch them or take care of them. And there's a lot of, I think, people that are homeless that are like that, and it's very terrible, very terrible. All right. Now, what final tips, advice can you give our listeners today that can help them find a uniqueness inside of them and step outside of the pain they may be feeling to become the optimized self that they deserve to become?
I love it, man. Powerful question. And I'm just a firm believer, man, that nothing's too deep. Don't take life so deep. It's not deep. And when you make it deep, you're gonna drown, right? I've had a good conversation with a couple of millionaires, and literally when I ask them a question, it's just so simple. And I'm thinking that they're gonna give it to me in a deep, 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 deep level. No, it's just, yo, this is what you need to do. Make the adjustment. Boom. I'm like, well, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say to the people, whatever life has given you, don't waste it. Use it as an ingredient for your successful meal. And what I mean by that is that I took being raped, I took being in foster care, I took being homeless, I took coming from a broken family, I took being a special education, and I used every single ingredient and put it into the bowl of life.
Mm.
What I need you guys to understand is that, of course, if you ever had an egg by itself, it's nasty. We all know that. Ever bite a stick of butter? Nasty. You ever had flour? Disgusting. But when you use these three ingredients into a cake and you mix them around, you start saying, Mom, can I lick the bowl? Like all of us, we always wanted to lick the bowl. And I'm telling you, eventually people will want to lick your success. So don't give up and don't throw away your pain. Utilize your pain, because your pain is the greatest weapon for you to be able to be successful. So what I would say to you is take what life has given you, put it in a bowl, create your masterpiece, and go out there and serve it to the world.
Oh, that's excellent. Excellent. And, I always try and tell people that everyone has their own unique story.
Yeah.
And people, like you say, they throw away their pain,
Yep.
and they think, I don't ever want to see that again. In other words, they're holding emotions to that pain still, meaning they haven't released it and allowed it to leave. It's still in them. It's still stored in their body. They're still getting grudges or jealousy or whatever that pain is,
Yep.
that happens. And, in other words, they're creating themselves as a victim still. They're in that victim mentality. And when they realize that they can overcome that, they become powerful. They've
Mm.
taken that on, they've silenced it, and now they can use it by voicing it. Because when you start voicing it, it disappears. That pain disappears because you're voicing it. Now you're not allowing it to have the power. You're actually taking the power and you're giving everybody else that power now.
Right.
You're relating to people, you're speaking to the hearts. And I think that's fabulous. I appreciate, everything that you've said.
Absolutely.
And where can people find you on social media then?
Yeah, so Instagram is at Will is Blessed. Again, that is Instagram, Will is Blessed. LinkedIn, William Winfield. YouTube, William Winfield. Facebook, William Winfield. Twitter, Will is Blessed 38. And all my website, live2be remembered.com.
That's awesome. Yeah. I hope everybody, follows you on at least one of those channels, because I'm not on all those channels, but it's great that you are, connecting everywhere you can, especially because you're with the youth and
Yeah.
you're really not much older than them, to be honest with you. 29, you're still young. You still got a lot of life ahead of you, and you've done so many things already in your life that you've experienced, and what you're doing is just fabulous to be able to speak. A lot of people can't even speak, in front of people. So for you to take that opportunity is a blessing in itself. William, I truly want to thank you for becoming the person you are today because of the mountains of value you have brought to the world, and especially these children that you're talking to. Everyone, please take a time to comment and hit share to bring the value William just graciously put out to help someone out there that may not even know that this information is there yet. Thank you for listening, and to be sure to subscribe and find me at roberttimmons.com and Painting Millionaires on Facebook and Instagram. And I want to really thank you, bud, and appreciate everything that you've done. And I know you're going to do some amazing things. You're going to have everything that you have just put a blueprint in front of you to do. And I think that's amazing.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It means the world, Rob.
Thank you, sir.